Greetings, everyone. I'm really glad to see you all today at another episode of Unscripted Stuff. And yeah, this thing. So here's the deal. Recently I saw this really cute trend. Maybe it isn't new, I'm just late to it. Girls put all sorts of cute stickers on their face. So I kind of wanted to try it, but I didn't have any stickers at home. No, like this stickable gemstones or whatever. So the only thing I found was this, CPU sticker. So I hope it looks really cute and make me look ethereal and magical on whatever the point of this trend is. And before we begin, as usually, I have something for you. It's really hot tea, so be really careful with it. I'll place it near you and you may have a sip when you want. And let's begin. Today I wanted to share with you some activity, some hobby. I can't call it a really hobby, but a really loved activity of mine, and that is shopping at thrift store. And yeah, I really do this for many years, and I love thrift stores. And today I'll share with you why is that. So maybe you'll give it a try if you haven't already. Oh, maybe you'll... Alright. Maybe on the opposite, you'll decide that this is not for you and you won't even try it ever. Let's begin. First of all, a little bit of history of my own interaction with thrift stores. Let's go back like maybe 15 years ago, or maybe I can't remember exactly. When I was a student, I just entered the university, and a friend of mine came to me with this conspirational look and said like, hey, I want to go to a really cool place after the studies today. I was like, sure, I'm up to anything, let's go. And when I saw that we are approaching a thrift shop, I was really skeptical. No, like I was beyond skeptical, because in my imagination, thrift stores were a place where homeless people come and some charity organizations give them free clothing of really poor quality. And what was my surprise when I saw this giant shop full of great quality clothing, and it was dirt cheap. It was a hidden gem, because back in the days the thrifting wasn't a thing. Little people knew that it's actually a really cool place. So I can remember vividly that on that first day I bought myself a lot of stuff, among which was a Chanel shirt. Maybe it was fake Chanel, I don't know. But anyway, it costed me 5 hryvnias. And back in the day, it was below $1, less than $1. So, hey, it was one of my favorite shirts. I wore it for a few years, and it still didn't turn into garbage. Maybe it's still somewhere in my parents' home still. And I become a fan of thrifting ever since, because you could find an amazing stuff there. Later, thrift stores became more popular and their owners started being suspicious of something, of course. So they heightened the prices. But it was still bearable. It was still a fraction of the cost of a new clothing. A few years ago, maybe I missed something, maybe somewhere on the internet, some influencer or whoever this shit genius was, gave people the idea that reselling garments from thrift store is a great business strategy. So it turned into a circus, because on restock day there were whole teams of these scavengers who waited, and when the door opened in the morning, they just rushed inside, and few of them swiped the rows of clothing, grabbing everything that looked decent, and anything really, men's clothing, women's clothing, children's, I know, any other genders and ages that there exist. They grabbed everything without even looking at it. threw everything into a big pile on the floor, and one of their teammates guarded this pile, so you will not just, steal their precious findings. And this practically paralyzed the whole thrifting stuff. But luckily, people aren't so stupid. Especially in Ukraine during the war, nobody is willing to buy used second-hand clothing for nearly the price of a new brand once. So this whole thing kind of died down, and the thrift stores returned to their normal rhythm of life. And there are many reasons to love thrifting. I will tell you about them. Maybe you'll love them too. First and obvious, everything is cheap. It saves you a shit ton of money. Especially if you don't need something specific, but you just need a decent pair of jeans to go to the grocery store on everyday basis. And the only requirements are that they will fit you in size and are not stained in urine of the previous owner. And that's all. And then thrift store is your bro. You can find a lot of stuff there for free. Well, you already know that. Another great benefit of thrifting is, the whole green idea. Because I'm not that of a green activist myself, but I hate both fast fashion and luxurious fashion. Fast fashion is a disease. It's a terrible stuff. Like, did you see, maybe if you haven't seen, you should Google how does the areas where this cheap clothes like Bershka, H&M, Zara, the areas where those are manufactured, these regions are drowning in trash. Like literally, I saw footages from Bangladesh where instead of rivers filled with water, there's just a river of trash, of this garbage, of this clothes, unused, maybe thrown away. And there's a big issue with recycling as well. Because as far as I know, to recycle clothing, you need to sort them very thoroughly. And you need to know precisely of which materials each one consists, because there are different technology for different types of materials. You cannot just take a pile of clothing, throw it into some industrial, kind of grinding machine and recycle into a new socks for you. No, it's a tedious process. It's kind of slow. And then imagine piles of this trash the height of a multi-store apartment building. Let's be honest, they will just sit there and rot in the open air. Nobody is going to ever sort them. They will just pile up this, threads in any area of the world that megacorps considers and outskirts of our planet, and they just turn a blind eye on it, and the folks will continue manufacturing those for minimum wage and drown in these terrifying amounts of clothing discarded. Because everything you can buy for a few bucks in those big, networks, it's of such a terrible quality that after maybe a few washes, they become, even too bad for being used as a floor rag. Ironically enough, the t-shirt I'm wearing right now is probably from one of such shops. And after a few washes, its clothes became almost transparent. So it became my homewear in maybe a few months after purchasing it. So I know that maybe when it's just one person, it won't change much. But when it's a lot of people who will decide to, leave this vicious circle of overconsumption, at least where it's possible, then maybe it make a difference in the end, eventually. I hope so. If not, at least for myself, I will feel better that I'm not a part of it. Because in everyday life, there's no way to avoid being part of this, consumption, production, and discarding cycle of polluting our planet and all that stuff, minimum wage hell for people from different countries. But at least where it's possible, it's good to not participate in it. And here comes one more benefit of thrift stores, not only closing their costs a fracture of who did this? Of a new clothing, but it will probably be of better quality and it may serve you several times longer than some cheap garbage. And then there goes the opposite of fast fashion, the luxurious brands. And this thing is completely out of my understanding at all as well. I freaking hate it. Because if normally looking bag, some casual clothing like some usual pants costs, thousands of dollars, it better have some freaking magic properties to it, or be bulletproof, or be sentient, I don't know. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a broke ass. There was a period in my life when I was a corporate employee of the month and I have some spare money. But even then, I didn't get this idea to just spend this money on expensive clothing. There was like 1,000 better ways to burn your cash in a more fun and rewarding way. And the whole idea of trying to prove myself to people around me and to look a better person by just demonstrating how much money I can flush down the toilet, that looked ridiculous. Like, I felt like I will look desperate and I will look like I'm trying too hard. And to me, people who do this look desperate. If that's about you, sorry folks. I've been in these situations when, like, a friend of mine came to see me. We were sitting in the cafe and I saw that he desperately wants to say something. He's uncomfortable. He's wiggling in his chair and he can't let it out. And eventually I understood what was that. When he had the opportunity, he, shifted the topic of our conversation to his new watch, I believe. And he was like, "Oh, how do you like my new watch?" And I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool. I like it." And he was like so offended, like, "What do you mean cool? It's the brand name and it costs," he named some ridiculous amount of money. And maybe he expected in that moment that he will look like, some supreme being to me. But in fact, he looked desperate. Like, what the hell? What was this about? Like, if you want to demonstrate that you can just burn thousands of dollars on some clothing, on some accessories, like, what are you, fucking stupid? So yeah, this isn't kind of my thing at all. And then the thrift store is my pro, because you can find stylish stuff there, you can find good quality stuff there, and it will be still cheap, and you will kind of take care about the earth as well. There's another pro that goes for creators. If you're into theater, maybe you're filming some movies, some videos, or maybe you just like cosplay, you're doing some DIY projects, then again, thrift store is heaven for you, because you can find a hell lot of unique stuff there, like really unique that you can't find anywhere else. And I saw this kind of carnival or cosplay clothing sold on Amazon, and Amazon likes that are here in Ukraine. And carnival clothing there is either affordable but looks terribly cheap and just distasteful, or it kind of looks good but it will cost you somewhere from month rental pay to cost of some mid-ranged used car. So then again, it's a good place for your creative projects to take a start. There are some cons, of course. I will mention those. First and the biggest issue with thrift stores is hygiene. I know they kind of, disinfect everything with some chemical stuff that actually stinks pretty bad, and you have to like ventilate those clothes and wash them really well. But overall, still you can find in a thrift store some clothing that has, let's say, stains from liquids of human origin on them, and you really have to avoid them. I don't want to know if this is disinfected, if this is washable. I'm not taking any chances with that. I'm not touching this stuff. So yeah, you can find really cool stuff, but it will have like a ketchup stains because somebody was sitting in this luxurious, a nice white sweater and eating a hot dog that was dripping down their chin right on this nice little fluffy sweater. Whoever this person is, I wish them eternal diarrhea. And yeah, another downside is that there can be no specific different sizes of each cloth. So if it didn't fit you, it is gone. Or you can take it and try to, maybe if it's too big, you can take it home and take it to the atelier and try to adjust it to your size. But in general, it can be kind of tricky to find some specific sizes for you. And of course, if you liked some stuff, you probably won't be able to buy a few pieces because most of those clothes aren't manufactured anymore. They're out of stock everywhere, even if you find the brand and model. This happened to me a few times. I wanted to find what is this, and of course it was discontinued. But it's not a big issue for me as well. It's not a turn off, it's not a deal breaker, because you can just go to a thrift store again and it will always be this pleasant feeling of surprise, like what will I find today. Also, I send my warmest regards to the people who buy thrift stuff and tries to resell it for 100 times the price. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? The whole idea of the thrift store for it to be affordable. So if someone, tossed away something of a luxurious brand, then so be it. People should be able to buy it for $5 or so. Yeah, and it's really disappointing when, these peeps just grab everything of value and try to resell it to you for the cost of a new clothing. That kills the very idea of a thrift stores. But luckily, I see less and less of such entrepreneurs, so it's not a big deal anymore. And yeah, of course, there's also this unwritten law that if you're looking for something specific, there's like 99.9% chance that you won't find it. But if you'll just give a thrift store a visit like once a few weeks, you'll be surprised by how many stuff you can actually find. And sometimes maybe you'll go to the thrift store in summer and you find this gorgeous fur coat or something for the winter, like sweater. And just go ahead and buy it. You'll thank yourself in the winter a few months later. It can't wait for you, can't wait for the sale season. So that's the thing to keep in mind. And that's pretty much it. I hope I interested you in visiting a local thrift store if you have such in your area. If you're already into it, let me know what cool thing you could find in it. For me, the most interesting stuff that I ever found in a thrift store is a bag with DVDs of old movies that someone just gave away to this charity, maybe. I didn't buy it, but it was kind of fun. It was a real old-timers, like first Shrek, real gold, I think. I don't have a DVD player anymore, so unfortunately those could be of no use to me. And that's it. I was really, really glad to see you today. Thank you for having me. If you're going to sleep, I wish you all the sweetest dreams. And if not, I wish you all the greatest day ahead, full of pleasant surprises. If you love surprises. If not, then I hope your day will go without any surprises at all. And that's it. We'll see each other real soon in the next roleplay episode of ASMR. Until then, see ya.